Alright, hey, good morning. Dave Knight here at 123daytrade.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Today is Thursday, August 23rd, 2018. Quickly coming up towards the end of August. Tomorrow is my son's first varsity football game. He's a sophomore. Hopefully he'll get in for a little bit and spell a couple kids every so often, maybe. He's first lineman alternate to come in, so I'm kind of excited to see what their plan is for him. I think that he'll come in on and play a little bit on the offensive side of the ball because he's a pretty big boy, 6'3" now. As a sophomore, weighing around 220. Still needs to beef up a bit, but hey, it is what it is at this point. So anyway, strong as an ox. So, and then my little kid, my youngest son, he won't get as much playing time this year, I don't think, but and he's on the combined 7th, 8th grade squad. And I think that if I look back at when I had my growth spurt, it was my 7th grade to 8th grade year. So, and there's actually a pretty big difference, seems like, between a 7th grader and an 8th grader a lot of times. Well, that's about it. We're looking at the crude oil futures market right now. There has not been a volume bar as far as what I'm looking for higher than 1,000, and in fact this is the highest volume bar on the charts right now, coming in at was that 628 at 803 in this volume bar. These combined at 828 would be over 1,000, but it wasn't 1,000. And if you look back into the evening, into yesterday when it opened up, and you look, that orange line that you see on the charts is a 500 bar line, and you can see it disappear. When it disappears, that means volume is low, right? So now you know that volume is low because there's no, I mean, even though these look that looks high, but since it's gone, since that first line is gone, now all of a sudden you know that volume is low. That's what I can understand, that volume is low at this point in time. There's no interest. And you can see this kind of reflected in prices as well. And all of a sudden, right at that point, you see the high volume bar spike. Or not really high, it's just mediocre at this point. So it kicks in, it hits right here, and this is as low as the market goes as of right now. The low that we have in the market right now is 67.62, and our high is at 68.12, it looks like. So was that about 60 tick range, 50 tick range overnight? $50 tick range overnight. Yeah, it's 50. So that's what's going on right now. Nothing to really report. If we look top down, dailies, let's start with the day again. We can look at yesterday. Yesterday was another up day that met up to the swing high of August 14th. And now this is where we are deciding where we want to go at this point, right? We talked about that trend line yesterday that I put on the chart, so let's throw that on there again. So we busted over that trend line that I put on the charts yesterday. Let's change the color. That looks a little better, you can see it. Well, trend lines are made to be broken, is always been my thought process. we talked about last week, we talked about coming down to the 200 bar SMA and how it would strongly impact off of that. So it did. Whenever the 200 bar SMA is in play, there's always a violent move opposite of it after, well, not always, but mostly every time that you get close to a 200 bar SMA, SMA standing for simple moving average, and this is the 200 bar SMA on the daily chart. As far as day traders go, this is the most important point on a chart, in my humble opinion, is where is the 200 bar SMA, and can you trade into it? Or are you going to be trading away from it? Knowing that, thinking about that, I probably, being long yesterday was probably a smart decision. I missed it at 66.11, which I'm not really kicking myself over because I saw it. So I know that I struggle on the long side sometimes. So I'm okay with that struggle as long as I know that I'm starting to see things a little bit different. So my bias, and I know this going into trading, is to be on the short side of the market. But I'm trying to recognize that bias as time goes on, and that's why you see me changing my way of thinking somewhat, because of the changing in the market. The market has made a change. When I was making most of my gains and whatnot, we're talking about last year and the years prior, when the market was in a downswing. And we really haven't been in a downswing at all since what, July, June of 2017. And you can see that we cross over the 200 bar right in this area significantly in October of 2017. And honestly, we haven't looked at that 200 bar line until just recently. So it touches it and it bounces off of it. Now, what do I think can happen? No, obviously, not obviously, but if you don't know this, let's talk about it. So, in a nutshell, there's highs in the markets that we can see that it can offer resistance. So right now you can see that there is a head and shoulders pattern with a ziggy man, as I like to call him, and then you have your break line that has been playing on the daily chart. So that is an overriding down and an up. Now the other side of that is that our 200 bar line has held, and you can see almost the exact opposite, where you have the other side of this, and then you have a break line right in this area that could send the market back up to the highs. Maybe looking at it this way, and then you have the head and shoulders neckline right around that area. But I would argue that it's down here too. That this move right here can be discounted a little bit. I'm almost positive that was when that was more of a it doesn't matter. Anyway, so long story short, the price is reflected, and regardless of what you or I think, this is the final determinator what our price is right now. And what we can say right now is that's the price right now, currently at 67.83.84. So that is what we know at, was it 7:30 almost in the morning CST. At about 7:30 a.m. CST, we're trading around 67.83, 67.84. That's about the only truth that we know. Now we can make forecast of what we believe can happen. See, we can look at it that way, or we can look at it this way. So forecasting, but we have to get through this line. So if we come back through to that line again, it'll be the third time there. So we might have to hit it again, go off of it, and then the fourth time it breaks through. Who knows? Or we can say this was the first time it was down there, but this was in an upswing. So it's really not the count. The count would start here. Now, top down, looking at the hourly chart, we can see the hour, and we're above that line right now, and we're above pivot. So we're trading in between pivot and R1 right now. And what we know at this point is there has been no interest up at these levels in volume. Coming down to the 15 minutes. See here. Once again, we are above that line that we put on the daily charts, and we can see that we're above the pivot. We are in obviously an uptrend swing again. And then looking down at our 5-minute chart. By the way, I keep 2 charts off to the side on the crude oil market. This is the 2 that I choose. Usually I'm looking, I have my longer term chart up here, 15-minute, and I fluctuate between the 15-minute and the hour. Usually I keep it on the hourly chart now on the crude oil market, unless it starts moving quickly. And then I'll move down to the 15 minutes so that I can see it a little bit with more clarity. But in a low volume or non-moving market, I like to look at the hour to see where we are, and then I keep the 5-minute chart so I can keep an eye on where pretty much what I'm looking at on the hour, the 15-minute, and the 5-minute chart is where is the 200 bar SMA. That's the main thing that I want to know. Are we close to it? Right now you can't even see it on the 15-minute at this point. 15 minutes got it way down here coming up. The hourly is once again is down here, and then you can see that we're trading right at it at the 5-minute. So knowing where your significant points are can be important as an overall. With that being said, what are the forecasts? Where could we go? Right now, the market, again, the magic number today, again saying 69.34 or 66.82. So it looks like we could go more than a dollar up. It's like a dollar, almost $1.50 up right now, or about $1 down. So that's just what Gann, the magic number, square of 9 saying, and then taking his 137.5 degree angle and forecasting out what Gann's saying. And a lot of times Gann and, believe it or not, Fibonacci agree with each other. So that's it for the morning chit chat. I'm waiting to see. I'm going to be sitting on the sidelines until I see a volume bar that's worth trading. Until that point, we'll talk to you a little bit later. Bye for now. All right, so we see our very first above 1,000 bar. That's going to make a short entry below the 59 mark at 57. That's a failure line. and we're waiting on the other side of the trade to set up. Today we're running with 18 tick stop, 60 tick target. Alright, when I see it or get set up, I'll let you know. Alright, so we have our bracket set up here. Waiting to see what side gets filled. Alright, so short side gets filled. We're moving along. 67.58 was the fill. Went down 6 ticks so far. Go down to 71. Target is 67.38. Closing in on pivot. Pivot is at 41. 3P target is 66.98, 66.99. GAN is 6682. So let's go after the GAN number for now. Call it 83. Down 2 more. So we got to negotiate the pivot point to start with. Alright, pausing. Usually when I like to be long, I like to see the 200 bar catch up to it and then cross over. So if the 200 bar was down here and then get involved in it later, so when it comes down, if it comes down, that's how I like to look at the long side. Although we set up that long to start with. So I think, I don't know, hell, okay, it can go any way, but we can see that pivot is like a magnet when it's close to it. Now, is this where it's going to repel off of it, 67.50, or are we going to reach down to 41 and lower? I don't know. No one knows. Well, I wouldn't say no one knows. There's countless people in the 1% that can move the market if they want to. So previous low to this 67.50 was 67.62. So we went 12 ticks lower. If we're looking at the hourly chart, where can we go? Remember that trend line is on the charts here, reaching to the 6,700 level. That's definitely doable to reach back down to here, and in fact coming down to in this area, that would fill the gap that went up from yesterday if they wanted to drive it down, reaching down to 66.50. So reaching down to S1 is definitely doable right now. We'll see if we can go any further. Double bottom, and we push through it. If it gets through there, it's going to be how far can we get through. If we go through it with a lot, then I'll stay. If we just break through it in 2 to 3 ticks, I'm going to move to break even. Alright, there might be a bottom end right now we're going to protect. Here's my handy dandy calculator when you need it. Down to 46. 64. That's only 4 tick lower there. It only went 4 ticks lower on that low when it went through. Protecting the short. Alright. Coming down to pivot. Not a lot of volume down here yet, so maybe we can continue this move for a while. One P target right there. 2, 3. Anything beyond 3 is a bonus. So last low 67.50, new low 67.44. On this short, really I don't want to see it stop. Our best chance of catching this short is right now, in my humble opinion. Breaks through that pivot point. How hard can it break through it? Looking at volume, we get 104 here at 40, 116 at 38. Not as much on the other side here. So definitely there's some orders to be run down here at 40, 38, and probably a lot more down here. So I would assume that we're going to get it to at least 38 right now. There's, ooh, look at that, 35 is showing 134. Lots of orders down here. $141 at 35. Look at that right there. 140 at 35. How far can it break down here? 38 is 1p, 18, then 99. Boy, if I can get through this area right through here, there's lots of orders. Alright, we're going to go ahead and lock in 3. If it comes up violently, then the jig is up. $148 at 35. That number keeps growing. What's underneath there? 149 now, 150. Look at that, just keep on growing. Down there at 35, knocking that out. Here we go. It's going to break. It's a matter of time now. Hopefully it breaks down. See if we can push out some of these weak shorts here. Got 93, 106, 115. Can we survive this upswing? Which way does the market want to go right now? Alright, taking us out. Alright, just to see what happens here. Our stop with an 18 tick move behind it would 42 plus 18 is 60. Let's see if 60 gets hit here. I wanted to protect against the pivot point because this kind of action can happen. And honestly, it was a high red bar to start with. So I'm expecting the market to go, with everything being equal, to go up, going towards the highest red bar volume. So the failure line, when it did fail up here, I wanted to see it continue to move down. So as far as the long setup, I'm watching this 200 bar right now, waiting for it to cross over and come back under with the highway, and then maybe get involved, but I don't know, because I think this bar over here is already played out. So we need something else. So I'm going to pause. We'll see which way the market wants to go. Is it going to go back up? Is it going to knock us out at 60 if we were to trail it, or will it go down to 38? Be back in a bit when I see it. So in the back of my head, I'm thinking, am I being penny wise, dollar foolish right now? Would I have held at 60? No, I'd probably hold 61. So what's that net effect right now? It came in at 58. Would be a -3 instead of a +2. So breaks through here, and of course I'm going to feel I was penny wise, dollar foolish right now, because it's looking like it's going to get through there. In the back of my head, I'm going, hey, this is the highest red bar volume, and if once it gets above this level, so where was that at? So buy above would be above the, right in this area, 72. all the way down to the low. Damn it. Ugh, these are painful. I didn't trust my signal and I overrode it. Now is when I should be at break even. Shit. Alright, so what I'm telling myself at this point is pretend you're in it and just follow. Don't jump in the market. We made 1p. There might be an opportunity to get short between going 1 to 3 if it comes up and comes back through. So what do I need? I need the market to come back and then stay below this and continue the lower high pattern, and then come back through. I might get a chance to get in, or I stay out. I don't know. I should this obviously. So I made 2 ticks. So the dollar penny wise, I made a 20 versus how much? Up to 60 today. So was the trade-off worth it? Is 2 better than 60 or minus 3? Minus 3, 2, or 60? Which of those are better? So here we are. We'd lock in 58 plus 3. We'd definitely be locking in. I would say no, I wouldn't want to be on 55, but I'd hold 56. Coming up to previous break point right at the pivot. Might be able to catch 39 down. Have to run with a tight stop here. Go 38. Using a fake out entry here. And what I want to see is a quick movement. Our stop will be right above the high right here. Alright, this pattern is no longer valid. I'm removing and on sidelines now. I need a high blue bar volume to get involved. Alright, so we're starting to see maybe a change crossing over the 200 bar. Ideally what I want to see to get into the long is underneath the highway and then come up through. But I believe we need to see some volume. I don't know if this is enough to send it this way. Probably need to come see volume and then kick in. So this is our short stop right here, break even. Let's go back and look at the high bar volume. Let's grab the other side of this. We have a midline and a deep line here. So above 67.60, that's sell below underneath here, and then this is a buy above area right here. So currently what I'm going to say is above this level is a good buy and below this level is a good sell, and right in this area is dead man land, 60, 71ish, dead man land. Alright, so I'm out. I'm just waiting here. Alright, so I want to, the short would have been knocked out. There's a long signal at 54, but they're below all this stuff here. I really don't want to be long below 60. So trying to keep my bias. By the way, that got knocked out. This was break-even trade now on the short. I'm just going to stand aside and watch the long right now because I'm still debating about how I want to hit it. Ideally, I want to see another 1,000 bar before I get involved again. Remember, I said one trade per 1,000. So I made my trade. I tried the fake out entry. Now it's coming down. So it's just, some days just don't work out. So what I wrote down in my journal right here, don't sweat the small stuff. Right now, the small stuff is me feeling like a horse's ass from getting out early and not holding on to that trade. So the market went down 1p and then it took me out. So I would have been out at 56 no matter what at this point. 55, 56, 57. I would have not allowed this market to, once it ran 1p, to not take a break-even trade. So my thought process is, if a market runs 1p, I want to be break-even. I no longer am willing to take a loss on a trade. Now each one has their own category. Today, as far as ticks go, it was 20 ticks on one side and I was running with 18 on the other. So at the maximum loss that I would have taken on this trade, it would have been 18 ticks. But once it reached 20 ticks in my favor, I was no longer willing to take any kind of form of loss on the trade. And trailing 18 ticks behind 38 is 56. Today it worked out just perfect. But right, 38. Can't even think right now. 56, yeah. So trailing 18 behind. So it did not work out. I'm okay with that. I'm glad that the market didn't fall out of bed right there and make me feel like even greater horse's ass than I am. I knew that it would bounce off a pivot if it was going to bounce, but also thought that we were going to fill those orders back then too. I really thought at that point that we were going to fall when we were back here. We hit down here. I really thought that we were going to fall because there was a lot of orders sitting down here at that 38 and the 35. Now it went and got it, but it got it after it went up. So it pushed up to come down. So it found those orders 35 and didn't find anything beyond 35, I guess is what that, so it didn't push any lower than 35. So we finally made it to what I would say is the sell line point today. This is what the interest of the red bar was right in here. This is where we were. And this is what I'm still working on my strategy, is how to play the long side of the market when the market has been in a down movement. And now there's some times when I'm completely confident to go in, but what I'm going to say right now, if we look at the overriding, well, it's better to look at it. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. I mean, us picking off the bottom is a lot harder than, for me personally, picking off the top. So I knew that coming into this trading day, since roughly 6:10 a.m., actually we can look back even further, but from 7 o'clock a.m. we had been in a downside move. So I knew that this could be over at any point, but I know that a lot of money that I've made in my past is made from taking that short side trade and running down. Now, possibilities, retracement level. So right at that 50% mark is where I think there might be some interest for the day. It's 69, right around this area. So we see we're trading at this, depending on how you look at it, 61.8 or 38.2%. It's how you look at it. Are you looking at it from top down, or are you looking at it from bottom up? But don't get concerned with what those levels are. Just know that the Fibonacci has 3 important points in it: 1/3, 1/2, 2/3. So that's what you need to know. So right now, depending upon how you're looking at it, it's at the 1/3 level, or it's at the 2/3 level coming the other way. So it depends on how you're looking at the market, which way are you looking. What we know is that this is the halfway mark right here. And this is what I'm expecting the market to be able to pull up to this level. Now if it trails off of here, then we'll say, all right, this was the level that it trailed off of. But what I'm going to tell you, that there's not interest yet at the 1/3 mark, or 2/3, depending upon how you're looking at it. What do I mean by that? There's no volume that's telling me that there is any interest at this current level right now. So I'm standing aside until I see something. In fact, I'm going to pause this video and end it here as the end of part 1. Alright, so this is the beginning of part 2. We'll see how the market's going to react here. It pushed off and I'm waiting on volume. So when I see some volume kick in, then I'll come back and unpause. Alright, so we finally see high blue bar, 1578. 1578 at 9 o'clock a.m. Difference is 383. It's kind of in that iffy land. This is the 50% line. What I mean by iffy? Difference being 1195 versus 1578. Difference is minus 383 right now. Now I'm going to take the short side of the trade if I can, but I want to see it maybe get back up here again and then get in. So I'm looking for the fat of the bar to get above, which it just did. So I'm coming in Alright, it's going higher. No, I'm not on camera. Hey. I don't know, I have to get a doctor's appointment. We'll see. So here's the tiebreaker bar. We have a GAN signal setting up here. Let me put it on. Right now I wouldn't mind being short below the 60. We'll call it 58. 59. Alright, so let's count this. I've been through here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if you count this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's recount here. We use this as 1, 2, 3. So fourth time coming. Completing the triangle to bring us down to here. So that's the area that we want to see, down this area. I really don't want to be short inside the dead man's line. Dead man area right now for me personally is in between this area. So we got the long above, the short below. Put on some relaxing music now. Gonna pause until it filled. So let's measure the long. If we'd have been in, it would have been around 54. The way I'd look at it. So how far have we moved from 67.54 up? 1p would be 74, which I don't believe, did we run that? Yeah, we did. So right now, what do we know? The markets went down 1p and it's went up 1p. That's all we know. Love you. So, what? Oh yeah, you told me that. Making sure they're picking them up. All right, so what are we doing? I'm looking to go short and seeing the market complete the triangle and go again, come down, and then have some red bar volume on the down, and hopefully we can push through it. 67.59 entry, I want to see 39 to get to break even or close to it. It pushes down to the pivot points, what I want to see. And if it obviously if it pushes up above the 71, then this is the buy above line. So then we're going to need to see, at this point I would tell you that we need to see 2,000 or greater in volume once it gets above that 74 line to get interested in it. Went to 58 there. Wow, very strong swing right there. Hopefully that's a fake out and we come down. You know, it only went one tick. Going to hold and take an 18 tick here to hit if it hits me. Don't really like being on sevens. So we're going to go to our maximum loss of 20. You know, every so often you just get your ass handed to you, and today looks like the day that's going to get me. We're at that decisive point at the 50 bar. We're right at that 50 bar line. That's why it's violent right here. We're at 50% retracement. And I'm hoping that we can come back down here with my volume figures that I'm seeing right now. And if I'm wrong, then obviously it runs me out. And if I take a 20 tick hit, I'm going to be done on the day. I'm not going to allow myself to go minus 40. Just not going to happen. I'll take my minus 18 or minus 20 or whatever it ends up being, and I'll just call it a day. And say, hey, I'm wrong, so be it. I'm not willing to give up any more today. Recognize when you're wrong, I guess, right? That's my biggest problem that I have in my trading is recognizing when I'm wrong. And you know, if this market goes all the way up here to 79, I'm wrong, and I don't know what I'm doing today. So it's time to put my trading shoes, like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, right? It's time to take off the sweater vest, put on the normal shoes, and go do something else. I still have Friday. Can we be saved? I liked the trade. I did. I mean, at that point of entry, when I got in at 59, it could have went down. And got in at the sell line. I mean, I like it. I mean, there was nothing wrong with that particular entry. The only problem is the market had other things in mind. Now, is this going to be the top? I doubt it. So what do we know? 78 would have knocked us out. 79 keeps us in. So we hold the 79. And since we held the 20, we need to go after the 83. And if we do get to come down, and if it comes down, we want, obviously, what I want to see is a retest of the pivot line. So down here at pivot, if we get down there close, we'll protect break even. All right, so I want to pause here until we either break out or knock me out. Breakdown. You know, if nothing else, it was a good fight. And I always like good fights. So we got within one tick of being done on the day, but we're still in it. For some strange reason, the 20 tick held, and I don't go any higher than 20 ticks. You have to have your line in the sand that you're not willing to go across. For me, it's no greater than 20 ticks. And whenever I make that kind of decision at 20, then I have to be willing to take out deeper targets. Because I got to believe that the market can come down a lot harder to be saved, in other words. So what I want to do is bring up the hourly chart, and I want to find a level that I think we could run down to on a day that we get saved. So looks like we could reach down to S2 today. 65.24. What's the closest level if we plug in the high? High right now is 68.12. What's the closest we can get to that? So a 12p down move from there is 65.74. So that's what we're going. So if it does fall, and then we come off 10 ticks off of the 74 is 84. 65.84. We're actually going after the 11p target. Let me get that 11p in there. So it's actually 94. Okay, we survived that fall, but I don't want to test it again. That's probably stupid on my part. I survived the other side of this. I think I moved in a little too close, too fast. You know, we were within one tick of getting knocked out at minus 20. So let's count our lucky stars here. I'm going to pause this video because I got lucky, period. I was lucky. So let's look at this in a different way of looking at it. Right now, what do we know? Highest volume bars that we've seen today on the blue side are 1578 and 1285. Highest red bar volumes are 1195 and 803. I would argue that right now we are in a break-even area. And what that means is the market doesn't know which way to go at this point. So something has to break. I'm going to officially stand aside until that something shows up. And if that something shows up, I'll unpause the video and we'll talk about it. For now, I'm standing aside, considering myself lucky to be out at break even. Alright, so what do? We went to 79, so right now I'm feeling awful lucky. Saved by one tick, would have been knocked out right there. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, as the saying goes. Now we see this bar here makes the blue side more on the other side now. We have another volume bar coming in at 1067. At 930, and this coincides with natural gas storage coming out. 932. Doesn't normally affect the crude oil market, but nothing's been really hitting it lately. So where is it? Natural gas storage. It's pretty much right on forecast. Remember, I kind of want to see a 2000 volume bar or greater. I want to see something pretty much, I want to see something that makes me want to do something, and right now I don't see it. And I'm not long. The long above line is right through here, but I don't think the volume is supporting the way I think to be long. And obviously I'm wrong because it's going up, but doesn't mean it can't come down hard. it's coming to a very significant point though on a 5-minute chart. Right there at 83. Settlement line. So, and then we have our high at 68.12. Could stop anywhere between here. I'm going to get rid of this though, because we didn't get knocked out there. Thank God. You don't want to, like catching a falling knife, you don't want to get in front of a moving target either. Right now that moving target's going up and it can easily run 68.12. Alright, so when I see it, I'll unpause. Alright, here's my thought process. It expended a lot of energy to get up to here. I want to take it on at 79. I want to take this on right here at the 50 bar or the 200 bar SMA on a 5-minute chart. And I'm going to use this volume bar right there to get me in and see where we can go. And we haven't been above 68.12. Because this could just be a lower high pattern. And if we look here, the lower high pattern, 68.12. Up here, so 68.15, 68.07, 68.04, and now this is high as we get, 67.92. Now we might see another volume bar and then get another chance here. Pause it. Alright, what do we just do here? 92, 96. I don't want to hit the fake outside on this, so I'm going to hold down here. I believe there's some value if we get underneath this 80 level. Take on the short. Looking at this as just a double top. That's all. 92, 90, what, 96. Still staying within 5 ticks. Gets above this level here though, goes above 96, then I'll remove my short side trade. Alright, so that's what I'm thinking here. We'll see. Alright. I went down to 80. It's air to 78. So what do I think? I think we can reach down into this zone right here. And then it's going to come down to, can we break through it? But I'm going to protect break even once we get down through here. If, obviously, it goes there. Now, if it gets above 68.12, then we're just going to have to watch volume at that point. Okay, it went all the way up here. I'm removing my short. Looks like we're going to go take out 68.12 right now. So that market has really recovered nicely. I just pushed off of that and came right on down, didn't it? Look at that. I'm going to talk about a 2000 bar. 1967. It's one of those days. $68.05 and pushing off hard. $9.50. That moves so quick. Someone in the know knew what they wanted to do right there. But did they just want to drive it down to here? Alright, my mind is confused at this point, pausing. I mean, obviously I'd like to be short, but it moves so quick down. I was talking about, I had the 5-minute chart over and it hit there and went down within seconds. let's look back here. So 68.15, 68.06, 68.04, 68.05. You could argue that's the third time up there. It pushed off of it. All right, so $74 is the short. Although I believe if it gets below 80 now, we're heading down. So we'll hold that 78 again. Because this will be the fourth time coming down through this way, or fourth time going up through there. One of these things is going to break. Really, if it gets down underneath 80 now, I believe it's heading down. And we're going to use this volume bar and this level right in here to sell into it and hope that it goes through hard and at least reaches down into, let's get rid of the midline. So I'm expecting it to get down, if it's any good move at all, you should get down this next time at least to the 60 or lower. Now if it gets above this level here, if it gets above 68.04, I'm going to stop trading on the day. Because then I'm completely wrong in my thinking. The lower high pattern has been busted and I need to take my small win and walk away. I'm going to pause here until I either get filled or if it goes above higher, and then I'll come back. Alright, start of part 3. Came down to 80 right then, did not go through. So I really believe that's going to be a point that opens up the floodgates. So let's go ahead and air to 78. It's 3 times down to 80. So which side wants to win here? Underneath 80 could open up the floodgates to the short side. And I really want to go after a bigger target than 60 ticks because I think it's going to fly. 9p is 178. That's a little bit too much to ask, but 7p is 138. That I can see. This is setting up nicely to be a short in the day, as long as we don't go above the 6804 level. Honestly, this is playing into my strategy pretty good today. We'll see how it affects once it gets down here, if it's going to blow through. Look at that, went down to 80 again and fought it off. You can just see the floodgates are going to open up. And that's a cross I'm willing to take a risk on today. Now, as far as an up goes, if we would have come in at 54 today, if I would have been Johnny on the spot and took that, we've been as high as a 2p up move, and we need to get to 13 for 3. But I really like the short side of this a lot better. So right here, we ran a 2p target on that entry. We have a Ziggy Man on the charts now. Break line right in this area. Call it 91 to short now. see what happens here. $91, and it comes off of that. 98, we're not going to take a hit more than 99. Call it 68.0. Well, shit. If it goes to 99, it goes to 01. That's discretion, better part of valor. Let's lower our loss here. I really don't want to see it break above this 98 line. Otherwise, Ziggy is not playing with us. So we got our Ziggy man right now, and it's either works out or it doesn't, but this is the Ziggy man. And then that's the break line, and either we're heading down or not. $67.91 is entry point. 1p target for break even is 6771. So right down here in the bottom of this line down here, we'll call it 73 though. So if we get to 73, we're at break even, or if we get down to roughly 76 line. Alright, so I don't want to see 97. Do not want to see this line come up. I will air to 98. So what is our target? 66.53. Let's go to 57. And that's going to bring us through 66666 again too. So knowing that's in the way, let's go 73. Alright, I do not want to see it move back. We'll protect break even. Probably, I just don't want to see, I don't want to take a loss today now. Hold on. Gee whiz, it needs to break. You know what, screw it. 91, break even. Actually got up from my desk and walked away. I'm standing back here so I can't move my mouse anymore. Alright, we're going to protect 90. Make sure we get something on it. Done. That's it. Last trade. Last trade a day. No matter what. Last trade. Holding 90. Don't want to get any closer. I want to see it get down to those lines we talked about. Otherwise, the short's not applicable. We need to get down, at least down to here, 73 to 71. And we're trying to play a short into a long situation, so looks like it's going to knock us out. Damn it. Just too hard today. Didn't want to break. Yet. Maybe we get lucky. I've been lucky on one side. Can I get lucky on the other? Go 91 and we'll play our game. I'm seeing this 105 right there. It's scaring me. Alright, screw it. Either that's going to hold or it's not. 116 at 90. Pushes here, it's going to go up hard. What do we got going on down here? They need to find some orders. Need to bring it down here to the 70 line and see what's down here. Come on. Good fight today. We're going to get knocked out now because it doesn't never. When it comes back after it drops down, then you know that the jig is up. Screw it. 91. Oh, well, maybe they're smarter than I know. Let's protect 90. Obviously, they're smarter than me. 119 at 90. Now it's going to get it. It's eating it up now. They're pushing it one more time. Someone's playing their wad that they played in 50 in there. They played it. You saw them play it. It went from 112 down right there. You saw them play that. They played it. That was cool. Now, maybe go back and look at that when the 112, 120 went down to about 50, 60. They played it. They bam, 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 bam. They offered it out. Bid it down. Offer, bid. I always get that confused. Bid and offer. Bid, you're bidding something up. You offer something down, right? So they started offering. They took their orders and they offered up to get down. Now it's just a matter, can they hold it? So knowing that, we can protect 89 because we know that if it gets back anywhere close now, we're done. This play is over. Very interesting today. Wonder how that would look on volume profile. If anyone's listened to me at this point in time and got volume profile, if you can link that up, I'm just curious what that looked like at the same time. I don't use volume profile, but I pay attention to levels, and right there you could tell that there was a fight going on, and then you saw the 112 get eliminated down to about 50, 60 at that point, and then it's got offered up underneath and it drove it down. Now it's a matter of how much profit do we get on the day. Do we only get 2 ticks or do we get a whole boatload? 3P target from 67.91 is 67.32. Let's mark the chart. If we can get there, 67.32 pulls us through pivot. Well, that would be an awesome trade. Every so often the squirrel gets the nut. Is today my day to get the nut? Don't like the way it stopped there though. Should have pushed through. Should have pushed through and it didn't. Please don't come back up again. Now they couldn't break it through that 76 line. Alright, that's enough up. Come on now. Alright, pausing either knocks us out or it goes lower. Let's see. Alright, now I'm unpausing because we're coming down hard right now. This is officially that 1p target that we talked about. See if they can break it. Need to break these lines down here though. Needs to break through 71 right now. Alright, so how high did that go? At 87, let's go ahead and protect 88. In fact, let's protect 87. We don't want to see settlement again. So if we don't want to see settlement, that means we don't want to see 86. If we don't want to see 86, that means we really don't want to see 85, but I don't like 5s. We'll hold 6. Don't mind exiting on 5s on a profit. I don't like getting out on 5s and 0s. And those round numbers are too easy to hit. We officially have not run a 1p is 72, by the way. 71. 71 is officially the 1p, but we're going to call it 72 since that's close enough. And you need to push through it. There we go. Alright, so we hit the buy line. Is this all we got in it? And then this is dead man's area. That's why I removed it, because we're in dead man's land in between here. I want to be involved in it prior to it getting down here. Alright, so now let's go ahead and we're going to make sure that we get something on the day. Let's come down. How far do we not want to see it move up? Let's use the yellow line plus 5 ticks, 83 for now. What's the break? The break was 80, 79, 80. Yeah, 3 ticks above 80 is 83. We'll hold there. $2p down move is 51 now. And then 32. So there's 51. And we got the charts marked at 3p. So if we reach down to that 32 level, and that's where I start getting aggressive on stop placement. I'm going to go ahead and protect 82. Honestly, what do I not want to see? I don't want to see 80. Either it's a strong down move or it's not, and if it's not strong, where can it go? It can go all the way to the highs. So 81.
That'll give us a 10 tick win, which is okay, but you know, we really don't want to see it come back up again. It's been fighting all day. Now it's time for it to make its move. Either it makes its move or it knocks us out. And I just don't feel comfortable because this is the buy line right here. And I've got to minimize my charts if I get knocked out. Damn it. Let's think about this. If that was going to be the down move, look how far it came off of that, by the way. It would have continued to push down. Now it's going to push. Went to 83. You know, I just don't know. I guess we just take our wins and just damn it, damn it, damn it. One time too many coming up. Well, you got knocked out. That's all I can say about it. Guess I moved in a little too close there. It had one more move that wanted to go up, and I honestly I didn't think that it is going to have it in it to come back up one more time. I thought once we broke through that line, we wouldn't see it again. I was wrong. The MFer decided to come up one more time and trap some longs and then head on down. You know what? This was a tough day for me. I saw it clearly, but I didn't trust it. Well, I won't say I didn't trust it. It just 83. So what did it do? It went break point at 80 and went up 3 ticks. 85 and 84, hold it. You know, that's just what I've got to remember. I can't hold 3 ticks above a break point. I got to hold at least 4 to 5 above. And that's where I can protect myself. Because I saw where that level was going to be eventually, 79, 78. I saw that level is going to be significant. And then we had our Ziggy Man right here. So Ziggy Man comes in. Then we get our break point. So we got in a nice trade here, in good position, with volume on our side. Everything going our way. And then I came in to 83. Oh well, live and learn. Be thankful that I'm up, I guess. So let me pause. Let me get rid of the screen draw. And I'm at, is that 35, 62, 30. I got 130 with commission costs. I had 3 trades today, and I think I was patient on my entries. I allowed myself the best opportunities I could to get in, and just didn't seem to, couldn't get in rhythm. That's the bottom line, is the rhythm of the market was a little bit off kilter for me today. That's going to do it for me. That's enough. And that's enough. I've beaten myself up. I'm done. I'm thankful that I'm going to win, and let's not worry about this anymore. See if we can, it is what it is at this point. Talk to you later. Bye now.